That's right. A simple 25-cent coin, the kind you might toss into a vending machine without thinking twice, has shocked collectors and treasure hunters with unbelievable values at auctions. Some of these rare pieces have sold for the price of a brand new car, and in certain cases, more than the down payment on a house. So before you ever spend a 1965 quarter, let's dive into the story of this coin, why it's so special, and how you might recognize one of these hidden treasures in your own collection. The story starts in the early 1960s. Back then, U.S. quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. People loved silver coins because they felt heavier and had real value. But soon silver became more expensive. People started keeping silver coins instead of spending them, which caused a shortage. The government needed a solution fast. In 1965, everything changed. The U.S. Mint stopped making silver quarters and switched to a copper and nickel mix. This was the first year of the clad quarter, the type we still use today. The 1965 quarter was the very first of its kind. Now here is where the magic comes in. The Mint struck billions of clad 1965 quarters, so most of them are not rare. But during this big change, mistakes happened. Some quarters dated 1965 were struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. That means a few rare 1965 quarters are actually silver, not clad. These are called transitional errors, and collectors go wild for them. Why? Because they are living proof of the moment U.S. coinage shifted forever. A silver 1965 quarter looks almost like a normal one at first glance, but if you weigh it, you'll see it is heavier. A clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver one weighs about 6.25 grams. That tiny difference is worth a fortune. Imagine this. You check your change and see a 1965 quarter. You drop it on a scale, and instead of 5.67 grams, it weighs 6.25. That means you're holding a mistake coin, a silver error that was never meant to exist. Auction houses have seen these rare quarters sell for $7,000, $10,000, even as high as $40,000 in some cases. Just think about that. A single coin worth more than many people's yearly salary, and it could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of change. But silver errors aren't the only valuable kind. The 1965 quarter has many other mistakes and varieties that can make collectors pay big money. Some coins were struck off-center, with part of the design missing. Others were struck twice, creating a double image. Some planchets were clipped, leaving a strange cut on the edge of the coin. Every one of these mistakes tells a story of how coins were made and how rare errors slipped through. Depending on the size of the error and the condition, these coins can sell from hundreds to thousands of dollars. Collectors love the 1965 quarter not just for its mistakes, but because it marks such an important moment in American history. This was the end of an era. Before 1965, coins had real silver in them. After 1965, they were just metal alloys. The 1965 quarter represents that change. It's a symbol of how money itself shifted in value, and that story adds to its demand. Auction results prove the excitement. One silver 1965 quarter sold for nearly $40,000. Another high-grade clad example sold for over $10,000. Error coins from 1965 frequently bring in thousands at coin shows and online sales. These numbers show just how much collectors are willing to pay. It also shows how thrilling it can be to find one of these treasures. People love the idea that hidden among everyday coins are rare pieces worth life-changing money. What makes this story even more exciting is the fact that these rare coins are still out there. Millions of 1965 quarters were made. Most are just worth face value, but the rare ones can be hiding anywhere. They could be in old jars, in your pocket change, or in rolls from the bank. Every time you see a 1965 quarter, there's a chance it could be one of the valuable ones. That's why collectors keep looking, and that's why the hunt never gets old. Think about the thrill of finding one. You check a quarter that looks ordinary. Then you realize it's heavy, silver, and worth more than your car. That kind of story has happened before, and it will happen again. And that possibility keeps people searching. It's not just about money, though. It's about holding a piece of history, a mistake from the mint that slipped through the cracks, and a coin that tells a story of change in America. So the next time you see a 1965 quarter, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Get a scale, check the edge, and examine the details. Who knows? That 25-cent coin could secretly be a jackpot waiting to be discovered. And even if it's not, the hunt itself is exciting. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins turn out to be the most extraordinary. Collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people have all been surprised by the value of this coin. And you could be next. Because when it comes to the 1965 Washington quarter, the truth is simple. Most are worth 25 cents, but a few are worth thousands, and the rarest of all are worth tens of thousands. That's what makes this coin so thrilling. That's why people will keep searching. And that's why you should never overlook a 1965 quarter again.